Everyone, I have two really cool Halloween molds. I hope you guys stick around to see how they turn out. For the first mold, I have this really cool into resin mold. It's a Halloween spider and it has really cool special effects on it. I was going to make it translucent, but I guess I put too much of the black T-Expert pigment paste in there and it was totally opaque. This is actually a tea light. Poured a little isopropyl alcohol on top to get rid of bubbles. And then the next mold that I had from them is a pumpkin mold. And I'm kind of excited about doing this one too. It looked super pretty. So I didn't make the same mistake again. Instead of using a pigment paste, I used a pigment colorant. It comes in little bottles that kind of looks like alcohol ink, and I colored it a very translucent orange, and I just went ahead and poured it into the pumpkin mold. So any resin that I'm going to put into a mold, I use the Resiner's bubble removal machine. I do not use it for canvas. I don't use it for glass on glass. You can get the bubbles out of that with a torch or with a heat gun. But for molds, you're not supposed to be using heat on it because you can ruin your mold. And so anyway, this went through the bubble removal machine, but the black spider did not, because it's really weird. I mixed it up and then put the drop of the T-Expert in, and immediately the resin turned kind of creamy looking and all the bubbles disappeared. So I don't know if anybody else has had experience with that, with the pigment paste making the bubbles disappear. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is all sitting on my Resiner's G3 curing machine, which is super cool. Just got it. I do have a video out on it, and it cures my molds in 2 hours. It's unbelievable. I set it at the highest setting for 2 hours, and I put the temperature up to 149 degrees, which is the highest setting you can for temperature. And then 2.5 hours later, I was able to demold. So with that curing machine, after 2 hours, it goes into a cool down mode, and a half an hour later, you can demold it, unless you have something that's really thin that can still be soft. But this was ready to demold. And I was pleasantly surprised because in the picture they show you using like a translucent in the beginning and then black on the top. I think it looks really pretty with the opaque black. And can you see the, oh my gosh, the crystal effect, and then I don't know if that's called the diamond effect down in the center where the tea light would go, but I just think that's super pretty. Really cool mold. I was real excited to see how this pumpkin turned out, and I realized after I demolded it that I never colored the stem green. But I'm thinking to myself, what a pain that would be, because you have to put the green in and let that cure and then wait, at least to get sticky and then pour the orange in. So I'm going to have to figure out another way to color that stem. I think that turned out super pretty. It's like it has some crystal dust on it that I have to brush away. So this is the second spider that I did. This time I poured a translucent black in it. I used a colorant instead of the T-Expert pigment paste. And I think I almost like the opaque black one better, but I kind of messed up, and I didn't come back and look at it, and it has a big bubble in the bottom. But without the dark color at the bottom, you can't see that pretty effect. But I'll show you later how I'm going to get rid of the bubble. But I think I like the one with the opaque black better, don't you guys? So for the spider with the hole, I got my little Resiner's rotary tool out and put the sanding attachment on, and just went ahead and sanded the bubbles on the back and tried to make it as flat as I could. There was still holes in there. And it's really important that after you sand down, what will happen is all that sediment from the sanding will stick in those holes. And if you don't get it out, it'll make the holes even more visible than they were before. So what I actually did was took it and rinsed it underwater. And the stuff, it came right out. That looks a little better already. But then I had to take, after I dried it off, I took clear UV resin and covered the bottom. And I'm sorry that's off camera. Then I mixed more clear UV resin. At first I was going to use the pigment paste, but I decided it would make it too opaque and the UV light wouldn't be able to reach it. So I used the clear UV resin with some colorant comes in a bottle like alcohol ink, but it's not alcohol ink. And I just spread it up to the edges on the bottom and balanced it so it sat flat and everything wouldn't drip off, and put it under the UV light. And then here's the spider after it's been out of the under the UV light for 5 minutes. And you can still see the little hole a little bit, but it does look better than it did before. That was spider number 2. This is spider number 3. So the first one was opaque, the second one was translucent, and this third one, the bottom is filled with clear resin. And I just left the very top to be topped with an opaque black. And I think this is how they do it. If you go on the Into Resin site, I think this is how they have the spider, and this looks pretty cool too. So anyway, I just mix, so the resin that's already in the spider is clear and it's cured up. Now I take some more resin and I mix the black Tea Expert pigment paste in and dump that on top. And 2.5 hours later, I pull it out of the mold. So remember, this is the one that's clear all the way up, and then one layer of black opaque on the top. And again, this is how I think they had it on the Into Resin site, how they were doing it. And I think this looks pretty cool like this. So here's all 3 of them again, the opaque one, and that's the one that is clear resin and cured up, and then I took a layer of opaque black and put it on the bottom. And then this is the one that had the translucent with the colorant, and that's the one that had the 3 bubbles, and you can still see the one a little bit, but it's a lot better than what it was. Which one do you guys like best? I kind of like the opaque one the best. I don't know if I'm supposed to color the eyes or not, or how you would even color them. And that one looks pretty cool too. And you can see I guess the tea light would kind of cover that up in the middle, but it's a real pretty effect where the tea light goes. And then again, that's the one that is translucent and had the bubbles in it. They all look pretty cool. And then down in that tray, you can see my pumpkin mold, and you can see the green stem. I poured the green stem, and I'm going to let that cure up before I pour the orange. So the pumpkin stem's cured. I mixed up my orange resin again with the orange translucent colorant, and I stick it in my bubble removal machine. Pour that into the pumpkin, but I'm not filling it all the way up because I'm trying to something different. I'm sticking this medicine cup in there to try to create an opening in the bottom to put a tea light in to light it up. So we'll see how this works out. I'm not really sure how it's going to work out. So I think I need a little bit more resin. I end up mixing some more up, dumping that in, and then sticking the medicine cup back in and hoping for the best. So for this next pumpkin, I decided to try to use UV resin. And somebody was just asking me this the other day. They said, if it's not translucent on the bottom, can they cure the resin? Well, I was willing to take the chance. I told them only probably if they do it in thin layers and if it's translucent. Well, this UV resin from Light Wish is a real pretty dark color, but it is very translucent. So I just squirted some in the bottom and put the UV light on it. And I think I left the UV light on it for about 5 minutes before I poured the orange resin into it. So here's one of the pumpkins with the medicine cup in the bottom, and this one I must not have put enough resin in because it ended up being a short pumpkin. And it is so short that a tea light, even though there's an opening in the bottom, a tea light won't fit under there. It's too short. And it's a little wobbly, that stem. That's the UV stem. And then the other one next to it also has the opening in the bottom. That looks cute sitting on the spider. And that one I can put a tea light under. You can see the difference between the two. One's much shorter than the other. I must not have had enough resin in the mold. So because that is a little bit wobbly because it's the UV resin, I put it under the UV light for about 5 minutes, and that really worked out pretty good, I think. And then I even made a glow-in-the-dark one with the Let's Resin glow-in-the-dark coral. It's such a pretty color. And look at how pretty that came out. So in the end, I ended up with 4 pumpkins and 4 spiders. And the 4th pumpkin I'm going to demold in a second. Oh, it looks like I have a cat hair or something on the back of that. and I tried to put the medicine cup in the bottom of it again. And the bottom of a couple of the pumpkins were real jagged, the ones that I tried to put the little medicine cup in. So I took my resin or sander and just went over it real quick and then cleaned it with some isopropyl alcohol because it really was not sitting very even on the bottom. And can you see the one pumpkin with the tea light under it? You can see it all lit up. And I ended up painting the one stem with the J. Diction metallic markers. I guess it's some new markers they have, and they really do have a metallic look, all the colors. Real pretty. Hey everyone, this was a fun project. Everybody's sending me all these molds, these holiday molds, so I'm trying to put videos out on them. And I have, I really like the pumpkin, and I love that spider. He's, I don't know, just the special effects. And I thought I had messed up when I did it the solid black, but I really think that the solid black is the neatest looking one. And just those special effects are so cool. And the other one that I think is really neat is the one that's clear on top and then the black on the bottom. I think that's kind of cool looking too, kind of creepy. And so these are tea light holders, and a regular tea light won't fit in it, like what you would find at the Dollar Tree or Walmart or whatever. You could set it on top like that, but it doesn't fit in it. And these I got on Amazon. You get like a dozen of them. I'll put a link in the description, but you turn them on just by twisting them. Twist it on and off. So that's pretty cool. That fits right in it. And then these, I was determined to make an opening in the bottom so that the tea light would fit under it. And this is the only one that worked for me. This one looks like it worked, but it's really just balancing on it. It's not really. And this one I made way, way too small. And this one I made solid. So the first one I forgot to color, put the colored resin in. So I ended up coloring it with these J. Diction metallic pens, and these are really nice metallic pens. I have tons of metallic pens, but these are nice because they're really metallic. Because usually when you get metallic pens, the gold and the silver are metallic looking and the other ones don't really look it, but these do. And this has green and red in it for Christmas, so I thought that was pretty cool. And they really are metallic looking. So I'm really happy with these. You get 7 of them. I'll put a link in the description. And what else do I can tell you? Oh, the UV resin. So the last 2 I ended up doing with UV resin, and it really worked out well. I was surprised. And it was a little, it almost seemed a little wobbly when I took it out, but I put the UV light on it and it cured the outside of it. It wasn't damp or wet or anything like that, but it did need to be cured to make it harder. So anyway, so that worked out. So, so these were a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. I'm going to be putting a couple videos out every week with the holidays coming. So if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, hit the bell, and you'll be notified when a new video comes out. Facebook page, come check us out over there, an amazing group. And I hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks for watching.